What you're looking at here is a game called Stretch Panic, released on the PS2 in 2001, and also known as Freakout in some regions. It was developed by Treasure, who later went on to make Wario World on the GameCube. In this game, you play as Linda, who holds a possessed scarf that she must use to perform exorcisms on the demons of vanity who have possessed her 12 sisters. We'll talk more about the story throughout the video, but just know that most of it comes from reading the game manual, so don't worry too much about game spoilers. Points are acquired by doing massive damage to enemies called the Bonita Zacco, which are young women who wanted breast implants and were supplied with Z-cup implants. Using their large breasts, they'll try to push you off cliffs, crush you, punch you with them, and even spin them around like an attack helicopter to fly through the air if you push them off an edge. These breasts are so large that it's difficult to wrap Linda's demon scarf around their body to pull their hair, but doing so is the best and easiest way to explode their bodies and get enough points to get to the next sister. You're probably a little bit confused. Let me break down the controls and the plot for you and it'll all start to make sense, I promise. You control Linda and her scarf at the same time. Left stick to control Linda, right stick to control the scarf. The scarf can of course stretch anything you see and cause damage. You push R1 to extend the scarf out, and then can stretch things with the right stick. Spinning it around in circles or pushing L3 does a scarf bomb which causes massive damage and can let you get across gaps. Pushing R3 can throw little things as well. Alright, this is the story of Linda, a girl who was carrying a massive number of boxes of cosmetic beauty products for her 12 elder sisters. While walking along the main road of town, a truck drove past her at such a tremendous speed that it caused her to lose balance and drop all the boxes she was holding. Meanwhile, a strange package was delivered to the 12 sisters. The package began slowly opening by itself in front of the 12 sisters, revealing a large, ominous door. Smoke began to wrap the room while the door began to open. Then, a beckoning voice echoed in the sisters' ears. You will be beautiful. By then, the sisters had completely forgotten about Linda and their cosmetics. A pillar of blinding light suddenly flashed from the door. By the time Linda had noticed that it was coming from the direction of her own house, she was wrapped in the same envelope of light that her 12 sisters were. Somehow, the evil spirits, who were attracted to the extreme vanity in Linda's sisters, possessed them and Linda's scarf. Linda knew she must rescue her 12 sisters who had been made beautiful. By utilizing the power of her possessed scarf, Linda gathered her courage and set forth to save her sisters from being exhibited in the Museum of Agony. Each of the sisters is hidden behind a locked door in the museum, which acts as a hub world. Essentially, a bunch of doors to levels that you can only open by spending your points, which as I mentioned earlier are acquired by stretching the Bonita Zacco until they explode. Once you have enough points to open the next door, it's a boss battle with a sister. Oh yeah, plot twist. The stages I've shown so far are called exterior worlds, which are mandatory but in a way feel like side stages to get points. Surprise, most of this game is actually boss battles. Think Shadow of the Colossus, but Alright, so all the boss battles take place in a singular room, and most require you to stretch and snap certain areas of the sister's body, which are also lit up when you lock onto them. Most of them feature cool gimmicks as well, like... you know what, let's just go through them. First up, we've got Cinder. She's a pyromaniac in the real world, and so she's been turned into a giant, fire-breathing monster. The best way to hurt her is by grabbing her uvula with your scarf while she breathes fire, which causes it to shoot backwards into her throat. You can also grab the Zacco bombs that she throws at you and throw them back at her. Linda can pretty easily win this battle with a healthy mix of this and a lot of sidestepping and stretching her body. But anyway, next up we've got Spinner. She was hyperactive as a human before she was possessed, so she was, for some reason, turned into a gyroscope. No real gimmicks here, mostly just stretch either her head or ball counterweight and snap attack her. She too throws bombs at you, which you can fling back at her, but pretty easy fight. After that, we've got Siren. She loved to sing before she was possessed, so of course she's a siren. You cause heavy damage to her by picking up the weird little baby things while she's singing. If you remove all of them, she has a temper tantrum and that hurts her, emotionally and physically. Other than that, you know the drill, you stretch her with your scarf. But after that, we've got Miss Mecha, who as a human loved to invent things, so she was turned into a mad scientist that pilots a giant mech. The walls are electric in this arena, so you can torpedo attack her into the wall, which causes heavy damage. She also fires heat-seeking torpedoes at you, which you can change the direction of by grabbing. Other than that, keep stretching her robot testicles with your scarf and you're good. And then we've got Android version 2.1. Anne was a sci-fi nerd, so she's been turned into a satellite orbiting the moon. You walk around the moon Mario Galaxy style, trying to chase her down while she sends a bunch of bot Zaku at you, which creates lines of electricity between them as they move around the map. You can blow them up with a scarf stretch and prevent electricity from being produced by blowing up the gold Zaku bombs. Blowing these bombs up hurts her as well. Do enough damage, and you can move on to Face Off, who was obsessed with her face as a human, so she's now, basically, Mr. Potato Head. Kind of. You win this by torpedo attacking her, causing her nose and ears and all that to fly everywhere. You can then pick up the pieces of her face and stick them all back on her incorrectly, which causes her to become embarrassed and weak, and more susceptible to attacks. Once she's down, we've got Samantha, whose favorite possession as a human was a toy fish. So her weapon is that she has a fish. She tries to crush you with giant spears, and when she does that, you've got to attack the fish with a snap of the scarf to cause her to land head first into the spear. Again, do it enough, and you can move on to Jelly-chan. Jelly-chan is the chubby sister who is turned into a giant blob of jelly. If you go near her, she sucks you into her jelly and causes massive damage. You basically gotta keep attacking her with the scarf. Pretty easy fight, honestly. She does send these little bot things at you, but they can pretty easily be defeated as well with a stretch. Do it enough and you're good to move on to Demonica, who loves everything horror related. This is the strangest of all the boss battles. Basically, she tries to get into the arena through a bunch of blocked entrances. You need to listen carefully to where her footsteps are coming from, which is 1,000 times easier in surround sound, or watch through the tiny windows to see where she's going. Once she starts banging on a door, you snap attack it to cause damage. She eventually starts messing with you, and the footprints lead you to the shadow of a hanging child. But when that happens, you just do a 180 because she's at the other door. Again, do it enough and you're good to move on. After that, we've got Cyan, the short girl of the family, who's always wanted to be taller, and so she was turned into a giant, towering, ugly thing. You can't grab her with your scarf because she's not grabbable by scarves, basically. So you've got a team of shock troopers fighting alongside you who you need to keep in the air. She'll keep tossing them into windows, and you've got to run over and pull them off. If she's shot by them enough, she turns solid and can be damaged by your scarf. And the amount of damage is dependent on how many troopers are not stuck to windows. You basically pull troopers off of windows and scarf attack her till she's defeated. 2 more sisters to go. Mirage was into ancient Egyptian culture as a human, so she's some weird ancient curse thing. She can be hit by regular attacks, but will turn into an entire sandstorm sometimes. When that happens, you've got to run over to the nearest pond, which causes the sand to turn into mud, which, when attacked, does a bunch of damage. She also shoots torpedoes at you, which can be sent back like in the Miss Mecha fight. Again, you defeat her, and then the final boss, Spirit. She's the oldest of the sisters, and always wanted to be a ghost, so, well, she's a ghost. Surprisingly easy and uneventful for a final boss. You basically just gotta grab her gloves over and over and stretch snap them. There's mines on the battlefield too, which cause heavy damage to you, but for the most part, this is a shockingly easy final battle. Once she's down, congrats! You've successfully saved all of your sisters, and that's pretty much it for the plot. Presumably, they learned their lesson after the credits roll. Presumably, they've returned back to human form and are back at home, maybe ignoring all the beauty products that they want to deliver to them. No idea. The game has some issues for sure. The lack of really any in-game storytelling or conclusion to the plot beyond the manual is a bit lame, and the camera control is unbelievably frustrating since the right stick is your scarf, not the camera. But it more than makes up for it by being unlike anything you've ever played before or will ever play again. The story feels like it most likely has a positive message to it, and the gameplay being a series of boss battles was really unexpected. I had fun with it. You can beat the game in a couple of hours if you know what you're doing. It's kind of worth playing. Sort of like Mr. Mosquito, which I covered last week. That video is sitting at under 100 views right now and could use some love. But other than that, feel free to subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this, or hit the like button, whatever. Thanks for watching, guys. Love you. Peace.